There are some powerful Yu-Gi-Oh cards that you need to be looking out for before Supreme Darkness. Big dog, today I'm going to be talking about some powerful cards that players are looking to buy because of some of the most popular cards in the set and because of a new meta change. Today I'm going to be revealing those powerful cards and why you should strongly consider picking them up. Let's go ahead and jump on in. What's going on with ya, big dog? And it is an amazing day for Yu-Gi-Oh! I hope that your day phenomenal. But if it isn't, don't let what happened at the beginning of your day ruin the rest of your day. So there are two big components that I think people don't pay attention to when it comes to the 2025 year. The first is that everyone's on holiday, so Yu-Gi-Oh may be the last thing that people are paying attention to. But the second and most important one is that we haven't had a major Yu-Gi-Oh event in quite some time. Major Yu-Gi-Oh events is typically the time where players pick up really powerful cards to be able to boost their deck. You combine that with the fact that we're getting the new set Supreme Darkness, it's gonna cause all types of chaos for Yu-Gi-Oh players that aren't prepared. But while you guys were having fun drinking your hot cocoa and under Christmas trees getting things, I was preparing for you, big dog. And apparently so is my chat, because we're all losers, right? Unless the thing that ruined the beginning of your day is a goth girl, then let that woman ruin your day and life. You know what?
You know what? You know what?
He cooking. Today we're going to be talking about some of those Yu-Gi-Oh cards that some of the Yu-Gi-Oh players have been labbing with in the basement throughout this entire December and January, and we're going to be revealing those cards from Supreme Darkness. I'll go ahead and start off. Chat's going to mention some cards too, and we're going to go ahead and keep going. So one of the big things that I've noticed about Supreme Darkness is that it's going to be very extra deck heavy, and specifically the new Yu-Gi-Oh format is going to be Exceed based. So a lot of players are investing into cards like Spellbound to prevent your opponent from using those monsters as material. Now, fortunately enough, Spellbound does have two different prints. It's a Mega 10 card as well as an original secret pair. Darkwing Blast was actually a crazy good Yu-Gi-Oh set, and being able to prevent all of the face-up monsters your opponent currently controls from being tributed using his fusion material, synchro, or links is pretty big. The card's pretty versatile at being able to stop both Malice and Yugioh, and also prevents the opponent from link summoning with cards like IP Masquerena on your turn. Yugioh dies if hit right? Oh yeah. There are particular times where Spellbound can be a turn-ending Yu-Gi-Oh card, which is a lot of times something that you just need. I also still think that Exceed Encore is a crazy good card. Now, there's a little bit of contrast between both of these cards. While Spellbound can prevent your opponent from all different types of summonings, Exceed Encore addresses the Exceed threat. It allows you to be able to get rid of cards like Yugioh Detonator or any of the other powerful Exceed monsters your opponent might be summoning. But what does chat think? Just draw better? Regardless, I think both of these cards are fine, and a lot of players are moving towards cards that can prevent players from special summoning from the extra deck. Dimensional Barrier is an all-time popular favorite card, but it's not searchable unless you're using cards like Triple Tactics Thrust, Obligatory Thrust. Another problem with Dimensional Barrier is that it doesn't stop link summoning because the card predates link summoning. I know there was a time like that. If you guys play Yu-Gi-Oh before link summoning, you are officially a boomer, guys. Simul Archfiend actually does fix that problem. The card states that this turn, neither player can special summon monsters with the same card types, Ritual Fusion, Synchro, Exceed, and Link, as they already control. This card is incredibly good against Yu-Gi-Oh strategies that play multiple different types. For example, like Fiendsmith Yugioh, the deck that can link summon and Exceed summon. This card's pretty decent at being able to stop them, but it's also good against link heavy Yu-Gi-Oh decks too. Another card for Lab to beat you with?
None of it's true. It's BS. They made it up. They lie.
The card is searchable through a card that is 12 years old in Archfiend Harris, and this card hasn't received a print since the Mega 10s inside of 2014. What's that you say? 12 years old? Well, I remember back in my day we used to play the real Archfiend cards. Biopon Archfiend and Terra King Archfiend. Those were the good old days. Those were easily the best cards in the game. What was I talking about? Oh yeah! Anyways, Gladiator Beast is a really powerful Yu-Gi-Oh deck that allows you to be able to summon monsters from the main deck. Bless your heart, Boomer Galley. Speaking of Gladiator Beast, Supreme Darkness does have some pretty good cards for Gladiator Beast. I'm not sure if you should buy them. See, the big thing is that Gladiator Beast is non-existent in the OCG because cards like Molchummy Walrus and Molchummy Peruli exist, but more importantly, there's also Max C. Those three cards disincentivize strategies that special summon a whole ton, which is why Malice isn't as strong in the OCG as it is in the TCG. It's actually crazy good. I think Gladiator Beast will be left up in the air, but one strategy that players are really getting into is Crystron. Now, this deck is crazy good, but also seeing the same type of suppression because of the Maxis and the Molchummy cards. Now, the Crystron support has already made cards like Crystron Citri and Crystron Query Quandax pretty expensive. $20 each is kind of a lot, considering that these cards were never competitive. You could also buy Crystron Hocklefibrich, guys. It's coming off the list one day, right? But those are some of the cards that I wouldn't be focusing on right now. I think some of the more generic cards that you can synchro summon with this deck should be looked at. Cards like F8 Dawn Dragster has a super rare print that came out of a Megatin. I don't expect this card to be higher than a few bucks, but it's something that you probably are better off having than not having. I also think that Cyber Dragon Infinity is an amazing short-term investment. And the reason why I say short-term investment is because if I know anything about Konami, that card's 100% getting reprinted inside of the next Rarity Collection. There are actually some cards that I think you should 100% sell before the Rarity Collection announcement, but that's for an entirely different video. The Bestials? Kashtira? Shh, I'm not coping just yet, but those cards are definitely in there. I'm willing to stake my entire Yugi tubing career on it. I will quit competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! If those cards aren't in there. What else can they reprint? They reprinted everything. Big dogs, we got Gemini Elf reprinted before we got Kashtira reprints. I'm sick. But we're not talking about cards you should be selling. We're talking about cards that you need to pick up. Unfortunately, the Blue Eyes White Dragon structure deck got pushed back, but players are buying Crimson Dragon and the Light Dragon cards that surround it. It was part of the buy these cards before it skyrockets in price. Now it's being actualized. Evil Hero's gonna be good? Why are y'all doing this, guys? While I think it may be up in the air for Heroes, a strategy that I think is hands down going to be crazy good is Whitewoods. They finally get the support that they need inside of Supreme Darkness. So if you start to look back at all of the other high rarity Whitewoods cards, they're definitely cards you should pick up. I keep calling White Forest Whitewoods, but you guys know what I mean. Elzette and a Stellar of the White Forest are secret rares from the Infinite Forbidden, a set that will be 2 sets old by the time we get Supreme Darkness, and respectively, they're decently cheap compared to what they would be if they were a tier 1 Yu-Gi-Oh deck, something that Supreme Darkness actually puts them over the top to be. And then there's the Deception of the Sinful Spoils, a card that fell off of competitive relevancy ever since Snake Eyes got hit. Well, the thing about the White Forest cards is that in Supreme Darkness, White Forest and Azamina actually bridges, making Diabell Star even more important, and it also gives some relevancy to Deception of the Sinful Spoils. Now, when I talked about it, it was a $27 card. Now it's a $35 card. If y'all don't see that the card is going up in price right now in real time, I don't know what to tell you. Other than I got like some house front property in Kansas to sell you. It ain't mine, but I can sell it to you. I'm licensed. Licensed. Players are also picking up Super Star Slayer Sky Crisis Typhon. The card's, I can't even really lie, the card's crazy, so it makes sense for them to pick this card up. Star Crisis was $130 for a quarter century rare. Now it's $200. Invest in air fryers at YCS Disney. Then you better get Verujas then? Look, man, I've been telling people to get Verujas for the longest. If they don't want to get Verujas, it's on them at this point in time. I mean, Baron DeFleur was powerful because it was an Omni negation. Verujas is the same thing, except a little bit more. I've also noticed that Viscus Amritera has been played in more and more Yu-Gi-Oh strategies and allows them to be able to search Monadium Reframing as a form of negation. I'm not sure if it's going to be a big thing that stays on, or if it's just something that Master Duel players have been using in the TCG, or something that we borrowed from Master Duel players. Regardless, it doesn't really hurt to have a $2 card inside of your arsenal for when the new set comes out and introduces more synchro concepts. I don't think I've said he's a bad idea. I think that's actually a really good card to get your Horus cards right now. It makes sense because I don't envision Horus cards getting reprinted anytime soon, and this is like one of those forgotten engine Yu-Gi-Oh cards. A lot of people have not paid attention to it because strategies like Fiendsmith and Kashtira have taken a forefront. But if those cards get hit on the next ban list or so, then maybe Horus will be really good. I think you cook it. And lastly, a card that I've been noticing going up is Foolish Burial Goods and the Black Goat's Laughs. Listen, big dogs, There's been a lot of controversy over which one's better, hand traps or board breakers. I think board breakers have their charm. Most of the time, they allow you to be able to redress the board because some Yu-Gi-Oh strategies can make their combo anyways and gets rid of the situation while giving you opportunities to win the game. With that being said, both Foolish Burial Goods and the Black Goat's Laughs is crazy, especially if you have a dedicated Yu-Gi-Oh strategy that benefits from sending other spells and trap cards to the graveyard. I've also noticed that people are playing the Dear Servant in Dogmatica Maximus. That card can be really good for getting out of cards like Murielic Aggregator, but also cards like Garura Wings of Resonant Life, so it's pretty solid. I've been noticing a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players pick up those cards and invest into them because of Supreme Darkness. But I can't wait to see what you guys have to say of some other Yu-Gi-Oh cards that players should be looking into. Go ahead and let us know down below in the comment section, and I'm thinking about actually making a video that talks about the cards that you need for the entirety of 2025. Let me know if that's something that you guys would be interested in, but until then, go ahead and check out this video so I can catch you on the next one. Catch me on stream, big dogs.